Welcome to Kutch time. Today is January 23rd, 2026, and the Detroit Pistons just lost to the Houston Rockets 111 to 104, moving to 32 and 11 on the NBA season. The curse of the Pepsi Max jersey returns for Detroit, and this time it cursed the shooting. They went an abysmal 7 for 32 from the three tonight, and the starters shot an even worse percentage, being 2 for 15 on the night. They're also struggling from the free throw line, starting 4 for 8 and finishing 17 for 24 on the night, where the Rockets basically dominated the line and was a big reason they controlled the game the whole way through. So there was some good tonight. Jalen Duren, 18.7 rebounds, showing that he should be an all-star. Even on a night like tonight where most of the Pistons started to struggle, he did not. On the offensive end, at least, he had some defensive lapses that happens. But offensively, he was still the guy he usually is. Isaiah Stewart, big energy guy, big defensive guy, 16 points, 4 rebounds. One of the big reasons the Pistons got into a two-point game in the fourth quarter. He comes out and they kind of collapse after. Guy who I thought had the most impactful game tonight, probably the best game tonight from my end. For my eyes, Ron Holland, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals in just 25 minutes. I thought he was the biggest reason the Pistons got into a two-point game, a single possession game in the fourth quarter. He was doing it on the offensive end. He was getting to the bucket. He was driving. He was drawing fouls. He was doing everything. On the defensive end, it's Ron Holland. He's always going to show up on the defensive end. He's always going to give it his all, and he wasn't fouling as much today. He was getting out of the team's head. Jabari Smith and him had a little bit of a commotion, some words exchanged because Jabari Smith pushed Ron Holland, and Ron Holland got upset from that. And then it ultimately led to Jabari Smith tech, and that got him even more upset. In addition to the foul in the play, which Jabari Smith got a loose foul during that event. And at that point, Ron Holland was just kind of in their head. Ron Holland was just a menace, if you want to put lightly. Ron Holland was a big reason the Pistons were in this game. And it wasn't really until he was taken out that at that point the Pistons collapsed. They gave up any chance of coming back. Their offense became even worse. Their defense became significantly worse, and it just after the bench guys came out and the stars came back in, it wasn't a game. The starters tonight were terrible, but the bench guys like Ron, like Isaiah Stewart, like Javante, like Danis, those guys played the best minutes tonight. Asar Thompson, 12 points, 8 rebounds, had a nice night. Didn't play a lot, couldn't play a lot. He had 5 fouls with 7 minutes left in the third quarter. So a significant amount of game time left. And Asar comes out. Asar was having a nice night. He was getting that mid-range going. He actually had back-to-back mid-range shots, which is a rarity for him to even attempt those, let alone make them both. And obviously, it was him and man. That was the rivalry week game. That's why we had that the game was on Prime today. But you just can't foul. It's got to be more mindful of that with Asar. But at the one of the like pins on this game, the Pistons decided to go with Tobias instead of Asar in the closing minutes for offensive reasons. And then they had back-to-back turnovers. And they gave up back-to-back points, back-to-back easy buckets. The Pistons run on defense. The Pistons' best offense is full-court offense. If you can't get stops, it doesn't matter if your offense is slightly worse. Danis Jenkins had a nice night. 10 points, 4 assists, was a team best, plus 14. Again, that bench squad was the only good squad today. The starters sucked. There was obviously a bad night. There was obviously a terrible night. Turnovers, 16. Not the worst ever. Not good, though. Cade had 6 and Azusa had 4. Can't have that, especially in a close game like that tonight. Can't have that, especially from guys like Cade. Cade can have probably max 4. 7 for 32 from 3, like was mentioned. Cade was over 4. Tobias was over 3. Stewart over 2. Duncan 2 for 8. Danis 2 for 6. Most of the three-point guys that you usually expect to at least be okay at for three-point all kind of sucked. They all sucked. They were missing open ones. They were attempting contested ones. Like, it was just a terrible street night, trying to get it back. Like, Jaden Ivey was 2 for 5, and he was probably the best three-point shooter tonight. It was just a terrible game shooting. Cade had it probably one of his worst nights this season. 12 points, 8 assists. Goes 5 for 13 from the field, 0 for 4 from three, like was mentioned, 6 turnovers, like was mentioned. And I think that the shot, his wrist is still bothering him. I think the wrap was removed tonight, so he has a little bit more movability. But obviously his shot is still not at 100%, or where it was only a few weeks ago. So hopefully he can get 100% healthy. Because right now he is struggling from the shooting end. His finishing is still fine, but shooting wise, jumper wise, he is hurting. Tobias Harris, 4 points, 1 for 6 from the field, 0 for 3 from three, was a team worst, -16. Just a terrible game. Easily the worst player tonight. Tobias, I like Tobias. I bought his jersey when I was a kid, when he was on the Pistons the first time around, but he has struggled a lot. This season he's under 33% after the he's under 33% from the 3 point. And he just doesn't bring what the Pistons need at the 4 position. He's not that good at defense, or at least got like other guys in starting positions. He's not a good starting defender. His 3 point shot has struggled heavily this season. The only thing Tobias Harris is good at is like that post up mid range. That's it. He's in the 97th percentile for post ups. He's very good at that. Everything else you need him to do, he's below average, if not worse. And I would not be surprised. I would almost be, if the Pistons make even a slightly big trade, Tobias Harris will be moved just because he has to. Salary wise, he has to be moved. He has a $25 million dead cap salary. Like he's the most attractive salary that's so big because it's 1 year, 25 mil. Like he can make the room in salary, and the rest of the pieces in the trade can be made up somewhere else. Like I don't get how. Like you trade for Tobias for MPJ. That's an upgrade. That adds a lot of shooting and is defensively significantly better. Trey Murphy, same way. Like those two guys are guys Tobias Harris trades are looking at, and I would be heavily. I would like both of those. The team needs to make these. There's moves that can be made, and most of those include Tobias Harris being gone, and that's just the truth of it. Will those happen? Will those come to fruition? Only a couple weeks will tell. But after tonight's game, it really showed the holes that this team has. Pistons play in a couple days again. Hopefully they need that bounce back win, and hopefully they do, and hopefully they can win their next game. Thank you.